Okay, page 23. We're going to be introduced to a 16th note triplet. Now, we talked about the 8th note triplet and the ways to count in the combinations of quarter notes and 8th note triplets. Now, we're going to have a combination of counting here. What I recommend to do, the counting system to use, will be an 8th note count, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for the first couple lines. Now, you're being introduced to the 16th note triplet. 1/16th note triplet in 4/4 time equals 1/8 note. So if I take line 1, the first measure, I have 3 quarter notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and then I come to 4. I have an 8th note and a 16th note triplet, which would be 4 and. So I'm going to play line 1 slow. I'm going to play the first measure slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now, what I did, again, was I made 4 measures over and over again so you develop a feel for the 16th note triplet. Now, I'm going to play the first line without the metronome. And I'm going to count in 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, I discussed in a few videos back, I was going to make a video on how to use the metronome. Well, this is another way we can use the metronome. I'm going to put the metronome on 60, which is going to represent the quarter note. So that's going to tell me that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I'm going to do this in 8th note counting, I have now 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm going to play the first line. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Now, I use the metronome as the quarter note. What you can also do, and I would recommend this if you have never read 16th note triplets, to develop the feel and make the count. You should be loose all the time when you play, but in this particular case, we're trying to put something together, so we're learning it. Let's make it tight. So if I have the metronome at 60, and let's say I go to 90. Now, my approach to the metronome now, every time I have a tick, I'm going to make it a count. Example, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This kind of keeps me together and makes me feel the 16th note triplet. Let's try that. Every tick's a count. 1 and play and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1. Now that should really work for you. Just keep doing the first line over and over again. You'll develop the feel of the 16th note triplet. Now on the second line, I just added another 16th note triplet to the count of 3 and. So if you can play line 1, you could absolutely play line 2. Without the metronome, I'm going to do the first measure in line 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, with the metronome, every tick is a count. We have 1 and play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and As you see, I'm adding on the third line an additional 16th note triplet into the 4/4. So now, without the metronome, I'm going to play the third line in eighth note count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now, I played the first measure. You need to feel the triplet on the end. If I did a whole run of triplets, 1 and 2, and no accent, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So now I'm going to do line 3 with the metronome at 90. Each tick is an eighth note count. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Okay, now line 4, some additional combinations of the 16th note triplet. 90, each tick is a count, an eighth note count. Line 4, 1 and play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Okay, line 5, it continues using a different variation. Each tick is a count, eighth note count. 1 and play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. All right, that takes us to line 6. More combinations, and you're utilizing what you've learned so far, and you're kind of putting it into some sort of application. Line 6, we go. Each tick is a count, eighth note count. 1 and play. Line 6, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Okay, line 7. It continues, more variations within the 16th note triplet, eighth notes, eighth note rest and dots. Line 7. 1 and play. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Next line. 1 and play. 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2E and the 3E and the 4E and 1 and 2 and 3E and 4. Now, that's kind of snuck up the dot. Remember, a dot placed after a note increases the value of that one note by 1/2 the original value. The value of a quarter note is 2 eighth notes. So if it's a dotted quarter note, it's going to be equal to more than 2 eighth notes. How much? 1/2 the original value. 2 eighth notes. Okay. And you're adding one more. That's 3. It's equal to 3 eighth notes. Let me do that measure again. Second measure. I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we talked about counting triplets, and this is how I count triplets. And like I had mentioned before, that if you're counting triplets, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, that's fine if it works for you, but it avoids me doing subdivisions. It makes my life a little bit more complicated. But if I go back to line 1 and count 1 triplet and triplet, 2 triplet and triplet, 3 triplet and triplet, 4 triplet and triplet, 1. I don't recommend that, but if that works for you, you can do that. Now, we'll go back to line 8, and like I said, the dot snuck up on you, and the 3rd and 4th measure, you have a combination of a quarter note, 16th note, rest 16th notes, 3 of them, an 8th note, a 16th note, an 8th note, and a 16th note, and 2 16ths, and an 8th. Now, I'm going to play the 3rd measure slow. 1, E, and the 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and. Now, we changed the count of the use of the metronome as it's equal to the 8th note. So we're making it 1 and 2 and. Now, if I was to count with that as 1 and 2 and 16ths, 1 E and the 2 E and. Every time I hit 1 and, it's a tick. So you're not getting involved too much of any kind of things that are complicated. So now that takes care of page 23. Our next lesson is going to be page 24 and 25. And that will continue to the next video. Thank you.